trailer won't come until April 27th, where we could get some teasers in between then, like we already have been getting. I know some people are pointing to a trailer dropping sometime soon here, but I think it's going to be closer to the launch date.
What's up, everybody?
Cover that when it does drop, though, so do look out for that in the next week. Also, one of the last tips here that we went over with the scouting report, they keep hitting on this, but
I'm watching a video of this new map coming out, Riven.
Rooftops, cool zones, and a harbor, as well as a lot of elevation that matters more than the platform maps. Like Cold Tower Roof or the Cold Tower Water Slide Bridge and Harbor Ground and Stand Container that we could potentially get up to. Weapons like the Venator are pretty good at mid-range. Although part of me with these updates, those are courtesy buffs with weapons that are kind of in a really bad spot right now. They're going to try to change up that meta. If Arc is known for doing that with the finals, I can definitely see that being played in with Arc Raiders as well. So a lot of weapons right now that are underpowered are really, really strong. I would imagine those get nerfed, whereas weapons that are kind of not as strong are going to get buffed. At least that's my take on it, that's my thinking. Maybe we even see an additional buff as more utilization with the Rattler, etc. But I am also hoping buffs to come with more weapons. Again, I'm curious though, what weapons and gear changes are you hoping for? Whether it's weapons, shield, even gadgets. And let's wait and see what more of the trailer brings us in these teasers. I don't really know what actually works well on this map. That brings me to something I'm going to do right now because it actually matters for your day one. If this helped you prep it all for April 28th, I'm sure you know there's more. I'd appreciate a like on this. We got to get it into more players. Tell them before the map does drop. And subscribe for more day one Riven type coverage the moment it does live. As you've seen previously, I've had some insider intel occasionally or just exclusive first looks. So that can happen as well. Curious though about your Riven type theories, lost theories, or
Security sneaks are happening, but don't expect too much. They're stretched thin.
Video. If you do like strap, yes, do.
Okay then Raiders, we are back. We've got low scope today because we received a brand new trailer coming in from it.
Well, not 10 pitch, that's the stream over here. Man. I'm gonna play my thumbnail. Haha. Let me roll up something. So turn off these lights now. I just did some new ring lights to the back to as well. I know y'all can see it if you. My fucking chair side here ripped off the fucking side of it. Right, it was right here. So every time I switch, like it will hit this, you know. So I put it back a little bit more. We're more farther back there. That's how it looks now. You know what I mean? There you go. Let me get some of these out of here though. Well, alright, apply the fucking pressure. Grab it now your chuchi get it. Well, alright. Damn.
We are back. We've got loads to work today. We received a brand new trailer coming in from Empire Studios, and this was with regards to the new Riven map. This is going to be an interesting one because we also have some more details on from Solomon in terms of these servers. We all know how that one's going right now, but we also need to take a look at the roadmap itself because it appears that we might be getting some interesting stuff that we don't even know about just yet. This is the stuff that we're also got an incredible concept by one of you guys, which I think they need to implement into the game, so we're going to showcase that. If you haven't already, especially with my button, actually check out the game service. Go either offer esports updates and games like Space with a convenient option. You can use code plays at checkout right link in the description to get yourself a cheeky discount. Right now, we've got a discount. You can't miss it. If you want to get involved with that giveaway though, we are giving away a free copy of the game. If you've already got it, then make sure to get involved with the tokens. We're giving that away on Tuesday, patch update day. Head down to the comments and put in any couple of part. Make sure you like, subscribe, now let's see it. That being said, let's dive into the game. We've got loads to get into. Some of my focus. So starting off, those of you guys who are seeing that there's a few issues at the moment. CM Solomon actually posted up this right here, which was a relatively interesting post with regards to the server status right now. He states that we've received reports of server issues earlier. This has been escalated to the team, and while things may be stabilising, some players are still experiencing disconnections. The team is actively investigating and will share updates as soon as we have.
I was getting that shit yesterday.
If you're still encountering instability, please report any error codes that you receive, as this will help to narrow things down faster. Thank you for your patience. So yes, at the moment there are a lot of problems in terms of server side and actually being able to keep the game going. So do be careful when you are inside the game right now. I would recommend not taking in anything really overly expensive at the minute because the servers aren't holding up. And they are obviously known to give you back your loadouts, but it's not guaranteed that you will get it every single time you have these problems. Obviously, just make sure you that being said, we've also got this very interesting movement right here, which is the brand new trailer to the Riven Tides update. Now this is a bit of a teaser trailer, and it comes with a Twitter post that states, there's whispering stories into Brown's shoreline we left behind. Now the Tides are bringing it back. Riven Tide launches April 28. Now this is an interesting one because that actually says that this was all hidden for a while and now the shorelines are bringing it back to play. This also means that there could be a lot more to it. And what could be in this map absolutely terrifies me. But as you can see right here, we have the scout report. This one is a very interesting one because it obviously showcases a little bit of camera footage for the area. We can see that we've got the stacking yards and there's a lot of containers. Hopefully these containers are actually rubbigeable. It would be cool if you could get into some of the bigger shipping containers. That for me personally would pretty much be good for things because they are absolutely ginormous compared to the ones we've got in like Stellamontes, where they're absolutely tiny. Hopefully we can get inside of these. As far as what it is that's going to be available for you guys to actually roam around in, it does seem that this map is going to be absolutely huge. The last map that we received was Stellamontes, and we all know how that map is right now, so we need something a little bit more PvE orientated for the release of this one. But it does look really, really cool, and I can't wait to see exactly what it is that they bring to the table with it. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like pre-leaks or anything like that. We know that on the wall there is the writing of lions. I don't know what that's going to bring. It'll probably be some storyline on Shani and all that sort of stuff. But we know full well that that's going to be. I'm just intrigued as to what it's going to look like. Although, based on the imagery that we've got inside of this, it does look like it's going to be very, very similar to what we already have in terms of down battleground and even blue gates. It seems that the aesthetics of it are going to be really, really similar. Obviously, that post-apocalyptic look, but it's going to be on the shoreline. How they get that water correct, though, that's what I'm intrigued about. Are we going to be able to swim? I don't know about you, man, but it would be really, really cool if I could swim in the water. I'm just saying, it'd be cool. And I don't think that we've got any opportunity to actually know about whether we can actually swim in our graders yet. So let me know what you guys are thinking to that one, because I think that personally it could be really cool. And we've kind of taken a bit of an oversight in terms of this, because obviously inside of the actual map itself, it states that we've got a new map, new large arc, new map condition, and an expedition window. And obviously it's the bit at the moment that's at the bottom where it says new quests, new feats, trials and events, new gameplay items, new cosmetics, quality of life updates, and more. Now, the bit that intrigues me the most is the items that are actually going to come from inside of this map. We know full well that maps bring a good few things in terms of a brand new arc, which we know is going to be a large arc. This one terrifies me, and we've already spoken about that one. But in terms of items, what we're going to actually be able to receive, there generally is a lot more lootable items, which in terms of things means that there is going to be a lot more craftable items. What that could potentially bring to the table are new augments, new weapons, new utility items, new grenades. As to what it's actually going to bring, though, this is where it is that Embark can get this really, really wrong. If we get this whole new map and there is not enough stuff inside of this map to keep us entertained, this is where the game is going to fall into a bit of a suffering period, because by the looks of things, we are not looking at a brand new map for a while after this. Because we could be looking into the summer before a new map comes, with about a 4-month time period, taking us into about August time before we can see another map after this. That kind of worries me a little bit for the longevity of where arc raiders can actually go in terms of being able to receive new content. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter, but I want to know what you guys are thinking. What is it that you require inside of this new Riven Tides update to be able to sustain a longevity of time? Because the likelihood is again, in May, we're not likely to get anything, bar we'll get to the roadmap at the end of the month, or at least that's how I seem to look at it anyway. But we are at the weekend, and it's likely that over the next few days, they will continue with their marketing scheme, and we'll see a lot more coming. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because they are going to be dropping trailers, images, and so many more little teaser trailers and teaser points going up over the next couple of days, because that's just how their marketing works. What they should be doing, though, is making a lot more of it in-game, and I think that this is really, really important, and something that a lot of game companies genuinely get wrong these days. They utilize Discord, they utilize Twitter, they utilize Reddit, they utilize all of these sub-platforms that aren't actually on your screen in the game. The reason why this is a bad idea is because there are a lot of people that don't use social media. There are a lot of people that don't watch YouTube videos. There is just a lot of people overall that just want to be inside of that game, in that little world, and continue in there. That's where this Reddit post right here really becomes relevant to me, and I thought that this needed a bit of airtime for those of you guys who are Embark developers or Embark members of staff that are watching this, and I appreciate you because I know that you do. This right here was a UI concept for the new pop-up when launching a game for those who don't use Reddit or Discord. And this is really important. I know a lot of people don't like the pop-ups. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of those pop-ups, but sometimes I do think that they are genuinely needed, especially when it comes to the advertising purpose of what it is that's coming into the game, like notices. We could utilize the inbox in the top right corner. That would obviously work, but I think that there is definitely something that needs to be in the game more often to be able to communicate the parts that they're getting online. I just think it's really important. You can obviously go through to read more to the articles, or even into the links to the actual videos themselves. That way you know that it's actually happening. But for me personally, I think that this is definitely needed. The main reason is just for communication for those people who don't actually utilize every other kind of utilization for the communication for the game. I want to know what your opinions are, but I think this is a great one, so I just wanted to give it a bit of space in terms of airtime on screen. That's my 2 cents. Moving on from that, though, to let you know about your 2 cents, your top comments from the previous video where we went over the new large flying arc and things that needed changing. This was quite an important video, to be fair. You guys had a lot to say with it, and this is exactly what it was. We have right here from Gabrielle stating that we need more weapon mods. The Anvil Splitter is a taste. Now we need the full dinner course. Now this is something that we've spoke about a lot. We have got the Anvil Splitter and the Kinetic Converter. They are the only 2 items that you can utilize in terms of like legendary stacking or mods. And I do think that more mods need to come to the table.
Facts.
We've not really seen anything new come for that, and it's been pretty bog standard for quite some time. And I think personally, in terms of actual equipment, we need a massive boost up in what it is that we can utilize. Some of the weapons,
Especially these arcs.
just
And the
gonna be
flyer
honest with
flayed,
you.
oh.
And then with the modifications on them, they also too get a little bit boring now. We could do with some more, and I think you're 100% right. This next one coming from Dustin, though, states we definitely need more weapon variety, which essentially is just what I've said. We do need more weapon variety in terms of grey weapons, green weapons, and blue weapons. Not just those legendaries, not just those epics. We need some more lower grade weapons that we can use in everyday battling. Just things to spice it up a little bit and make even the baseline things just a little bit better.
Shake up the meta a little bit, you know?
Moving into the new map. And this final one right here, coming from Cardian, states a skill tree revamp will get for those of us that have invested in it to every expedition. Now this is the thing that you kind of need to look at. Expeditions right now don't really seem to be worth it. I was 1 behind because I didn't think the first one was going to go down too well. So I left the first one. So I am now 1 expedition behind the entire time, which is going to frustrate the life out of me, and I really, really regret doing it. But expeditions need to be more worth it. In terms of things like me, for content, it's definitely worth doing. In terms for people like you, I don't know if it is worth your time. We're going into a brand new map, and you're going to be going into there with no blueprints, no new weapons.
No new weapon.
Essentially. I know a lot of you guys.
I'm not doing no expeditions because of this fucking shotgun. You know the harder it is to get this shotgun blueprint?
Just don't know how I feel about that. We'll have to wait and see how it actually plays out, though. If you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, post notifications turned on. I appreciate you all for watching and for listening. And as always, until the next time.
Come on. Shouts out to Cloud Plays, man. You see we making clouds right here, nigga. Shouts out by G. Yeah. I'll give you a like. I didn't like it. Okay, I like now. The shotgun is too hard to get. Miss. So looks like the new map gonna be coming out soon. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. I ain't gonna take long. Till I'm back, y'all gonna hear some more of these
Okay, Raiders, we are
Cloud
back. We've
Plays.
got loads to go over today. As our main man,
I
Mr.
won't take
Virtual
long.
Watkins, has done a very large podcast interview with Game Maker's Notebook, where he talks about a few damn things, but one in particular is with regards to the changes with the skill tree. We've also got to talk about the longevity of the game and the truth around that matter. And also, we have a comment coming in from the big boss from Escape from Tarkov. This is absolutely huge, so we're going to showcase everything that we've got happening inside of the game today. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that beautiful like button and subscribe, and with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. Make sure on top of that, you're checking out our incredible sponsor, Gamer Service, the company that offer esports athletes and gamers alike with the most effective and healthy energy drink option. And we've got new bundles dropping all the time, so make sure you hit the link in the description and use code CLOUDPLAYS at checkout for a cheeky discount. On top of that, we're also doing a giveaway where we give away a free copy of the game, or if you've already got it, then we'll replace it with Raider Taken. It's very simple though. Head down to the comment section and put in any kind of love heart and it will enter you in. With that being said, let's dive into the game and see exactly what it is that's going on in the back scenes of Ark Raiders. Now, it appears that there is going to be a substantial change, or at least looking to be a substantial change in the skill tree in the way that they're going to be altering it, as Virgil Watkins did an interview with the Game Maker's Notebook podcast, and this was a absolutely huge one, as the titling for this actually stated that I don't think by any means we nailed it, says the design director, says significant changes are coming to the skill tree, as Virgil Watkins says that juggling PvP with PvE means that some of the game's skills are undeserving their purpose. Now, this was an absolutely ginormous conversation. I'll leave the link down in the description for you guys if you want to check out the original article. But this one is a very in-depth one. It goes on to state right here that in an interview with the Game Maker's Notebook podcast, Virgil Watkins was asked about the game's skill tree and the way it went a little above and beyond the skill trees seen in many other games. Now, Watkins replied that the skill tree as it stands isn't perfect because some skills are more important than others, and in specifics, it was a tough problem space for us, and I don't think by any means that we nailed it, he replies. Definitely there are some skills on there that, as we've seen how players actually play the game, because of course that we operate by our own intent, but even theory by how players actually engage with the game, and also some choices we've made since then about how certain systems have changed or certain progression loops have changed. There are definitely skills in there that are undeserving of their purpose, and Watkins actually suggests that part of the reason of this is that some of the skills are best suited to PvP players while others are suited to PvE, and as a result, players who focus on one discipline may be at a disadvantage in others. As such, he says that changes are being planned to address in the future. Now, for me personally, this is absolutely huge because it definitely needs a massive switch up. The game since launch has obviously had a bit of a turnaround, and the way that it's played is very, very different. The way that it kind of alters in terms of PvP to PvE is a very large change up, and the things that you actually need to go ahead and get, some of them become a little bit irrelevant in a way that you may play it to reach a node that you actually want to get. There needs to be, for me personally, a bit more of a segregation with the way that the skill tree works. Although Virgil states right here that a lot of thought went into, whenever possible, I don't love things that are just small statistical changes, but they do serve a purpose, as opposed to, oh, I have an entirely new ability now, or I can do this now that I couldn't do before. And that becomes a tricky situation for us because we have PvE, which is easier to balance around, and we have PvP, which is not. And I guess that does make a lot of sense in terms of obviously what you could do with the sandbox changes and how it is that you could balance them out. And I'm hoping that the game actually operates on a 2-roam standard, which essentially states that there is 2 different figures that these things can hit in terms of the weaponry damage and stuff like that for PvE to PvP, which would make it a little bit easier to roam the skill trees around, but we'll see what else he says right here. As he goes on to state that it became a situation of, do we really want someone who invests in this wing of the skill tree to be obviously more capable because they choose those over going to win over someone who invested in the red skill tree instead? So it's a tricky problem space, and we're reevaluating some pretty significant changes to it to better serve the game that exists today and the game that will exist in the future. And as we just stated, it actually says right here that Watkins also wanted the skill trees to essentially make it easier for players to evolve their character's abilities in a way that they want to define their specific playstyles. He states right here that can the skill tree with the composition paired with things like augments and your preference of weapons, as well as the gadgets that you choose and the grenades and things that you may well bring, can that help all come together to form a playstyle for you? So I do want to be a sneaky looter, or the guy who wants to be super agile, maneuvering around and things like that. I think that we've moved towards the ambition pretty well, but I think that there's more to do there. I think at this point, to make players feel like they've truly rounded out a set of choices that amalgamate into a playstyle choice of their own. Now, for me, that is massively true, and they definitely need to work on that, because I think that this is, for me at least, something that they have not really done too well. I can't say that just by clicking one node in any of the skill tree that I automatically notice a massive difference straight out of the gate. So much so that we all just kind of focused on stamina right off the rip because it made more sense. As for what it is that they can do to the skill tree, we'll have to wait and see, as we now know that they are going to be making those alterations. As to whether that's actually going to hold or not, well, you guys let me know what you guys want to see from that. And I think a lot of the changes that are made in now will tell us a good story in terms of the graphs. We can see right now that our graders is obviously slowly still depleting, although quite normal that we've currently got 30,000 players online on a Thursday morning, relatively normal to be fair, with an 82,000 24-hour peak. It essentially means that we've hit the core player base of where this game is actually at, and making sure they make the right decisions is probably more important now than it ever has been, as we can see by other games that we've even covered here on the channel, like Helldivers 2. The numbers are really, really low, but they do manage to peak whenever they release new content. So I think that what we'll actually find is through this bar chart that we have right here, all graders, we'll see that things like the end of April will launch, and then we'll see brand new spikes inside of that because new maps will come and so on and so forth. And for me personally, that makes a very massive difference. So making sure they get the skill trees correct is pretty damn large, if you ask my honest opinion. Let me know what you guys think via the comment section below, as I do think that the game is hitting a bit of a depletion, probably more so than it should do, more so than it deserves. Hopefully new maps will bring this back, but it appears that it's not having a massive impact on the extraction shooter genre, as Escape from Tarkov's boss says that Arc Raiders is an extraction shooter for casual people, but he wants the most painful experience possible. Specifically, in a article here where he does an interview with GamesBeat, Bayanov comments on the prospect of taking cues from Arc Raiders following its explosive launch, with convinced a significant amount of people to try out the extraction shooter